Hello, this is Dr. Darnise, and welcome back. I know it's been a minute. Welcome back into the Lifestyle and Writing Salon, the High Vibe Salon, I like to call it. Thank you for coming back and watching the video. Been gone for a bit, but I'm back, and there's a couple things that I want to share with you. Mostly more tips on how to live that high vibe lifestyle. And one thing that got me thinking about it is the fact that it is Beyonce's birthday, right, on September 4th. I'm also a September baby, but Libra, not Virgo. But there's been a lot of media coverage, of course, of Beyonce's birthday. So this video is not really about Beyonce per se, but it is about Beyonce stepping into that decade of the 40s. And so, as you know, I've written a book called 40 Something, and in which I talk about the transformational decade that the 40s can be. And so what I was noticing in the media, of course, the media always follows what Beyonce is doing. And since she's turned 40, of course, people are making this big deal about women who are turning 40 or women who are 40 something, and how that's not old, and women are still attractive and capable and all these things, as if we didn't know that, and as if we needed somebody to affirm that for us. But such as the media is, right, and they're following Beyonce and her entering into the decade of the 40s. Well, I already wrote the book about that, right? So 40 something, 40 something, 10 radical lessons for women on how to live and love without losing themselves. So, you may want to pick that up if you haven't already, or you can certainly get a free download of chapter 1 if you go to, you can go to my website, DrDarniseAcademy, and then you can just follow and click through there and get a free excerpt of the book 40 something. But this video is more about about the transformational decade that 40 something is and why that is. So some of you may be 40 something, some of you may be older than that, some of you may be younger than that. And yes, every age and every decade has its own, you might say, flavor or challenges or whatnot. But what I had in mind in writing 40 something is that this is the time in a woman's life typically where there's a major transition from being primary, where most of her energy is spent being a caretaker of others, usually her children, possibly her partner, maybe some family members, and stepping away from that role as children grow up or people find more independence. She finds that she has more time on her hands to explore herself. Right, and I'm an advocate for that. And so my book, 40 something, is really, my story is included in that, but it's included to give women tips about, hey, look, we've been living lives of service to others in such a way that has led to our own depletion and burnout in many cases. And if that's you, that's you, right? You've been giving and overgiving, and everyone has expected you to take care of them, and you've been doing so. Maybe you've been living into responsibilities that you legitimately had, and you will continue to have some responsibilities that you have to live into, and that's fine. But 40 something, there seems to be this kind of collision of priorities where a woman says, I have been doing that for others, and now I really need to do this for myself, for my own self-care, my own wellness, my own mental health, right? That's all in the news these days. I mean, people are talking about wellness and mental health as if it's a new thing, but it's become somewhat trendy, right? But it's always been obviously very important, but we're entering a time now where people feel very comfortable talking about their mental health and talking about wellness. And in particular for Black women, it's just been a luxury that was not afforded to us, right? We've been valued by the labor that we produce, been workhorses. The idea, the stereotype of the strong Black woman who can just carry the weight, right? And do so much labor and perform and be of value to others in terms of objectification and literal value upon her labor. But we live in a time now, speaking of the high vibe, when we can shift and be more focused on our own self-determination as an example of living a high vibe life, because we're not going to just be here for other people's service. Let me just take a breath. It's not just about being in service to other people. Obviously, we can do that too. And where we balance it, it's great. But this book and my programming, my coaching is really focused on helping 40 and 50-something women in particular reclaim their own self-determination and reclaim their right, our rights to rest and to luxury and, to find ourselves, to be authentic and to live in our own purpose. I said a lot of words there, but that's what I'm really passionate about, is helping women, especially Black women, because of so many of the systematic racism, sexism, expectations of community, of family, of religion, that's been hampering Black women for so long, and we got to get free. So I'm passionately here to help Black women in particular get free of a lot of that, so we can be our own authentic selves. And so, back to Beyonce for the moment, we look at Beyonce as this woman who seemingly has it all. But, if you listen to Lemonade, she certainly had some challenges herself, right? Every human being does. And because she's rich and famous, it does not excuse her or exclude her from having her own challenges. So she shared in that so much of her own personal self-doubt and her relationship issues with Jay-Z, which many women can relate to, no matter what level you are, socioeconomic or your status. But when we look at Beyonce, what we can predict she's going to, let's say, go through and model for us is we're going to see her change. We're going to see her, the way she presents herself change. We're going to see her art change as a reflection of who she is, because the 40-something decade is a transformational decade. Trust. And beyond, right? Because in every decade, 50-something, you just become more confident even about the changes that you started to make by the time you're in your late 40s. Early 40s, in general, of course, it can change, but it could be as early as the late 30s. But the early 40s is when these questions start to come up. What am I doing? I've been doing so much for other people. This isn't working so much for me now. What am I going to do with the rest of my life? I always say we're too young, even you're in your 40s, 40s and 50s, too young to be old, too old to be young. But we have a lot of wisdom and still energy, and we want to make things happen for ourselves. So in the 40s is when a woman typically has a bit more freedom, emotional freedom, mental freedom. She's freed up from taking care of others so directly that she can begin to think about her own needs and her own priorities and what she wants next as she steps into the next stage of her own evolution with authenticity. Because we can get caught up, right, doing for others, and we lose ourselves because we're so busy being, in other people's roles that they've set up for us because of their expectations. And so when we look at Beyonce, we can expect to see that she's really going to do a lot of changing in this decade. And, people are going to say what they're going to say. I mean, who knows what exactly that's going to look like. But, some people are going to like it. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. And that's just the nature of life. But by the time you're 40 and 50, you really stop caring so much what everybody thinks. Because you get more clarity about yourself, and you develop more confidence for yourself, and you realize, I've already played the game for other people. So I'm not going to put so much weight on what other people think. They don't have to co-sign my goal or my dream because it's not their dream. It's not their vision. I say all the time, don't stop because other people don't understand your goal or your vision. It's not there. So of course they don't fully understand it, right? But you stay true to yourself when you know that you're in your purpose and you're being authentic. So anyway, next point is what I have coming up. So I've been working on, one of the reasons I haven't been coming on here doing quite so many videos is because I've been working on, well, two aspects of the same thing. One, the Authentic Living Academy, which is based upon the book, right? So instead of 10 radical lessons, I have been putting together this teaching, 5 ways to live in love without losing yourself. And so that's it's like a master class that I put together. And so you're going to see me rolling that out. But it's part of and inviting you to come into the academy with me and to, you know, kind of work together for a year on your goal and your vision. Whatever your age, right? What do you want for yourself? And so we're going to spend a year doing a deep dive, and I'm going to walk with you as your coach, helping you through that, right? What are the things that you need to live your most authentic life, right? So there's the master class that you're going to see, you know, very soon here. I'm going to roll that out. You'll be able to watch that, you know, free. You'll be able to just stream it, right? And then the second part of that will be to invite you to join that academy, as I said, for a year. And then some of you will be able to join my diamond level coaching mastermind. So I'll have a smaller group of people who will be invited to join the Diamond Life mastermind group. So let's see, I feel like I've said a lot there, but I'm going to make another video and go more into the academy and diamond level coaching with me, just to, you know, flesh that out some more. But I would be curious to know what you think about the decades of the 40s, or wherever you are right now. What are the ways in which you are feeling already that you know you want to make a transformation? What are some things that, or how do you want to pivot? What's next for you? One of the things of coming out of this quarantine period we've been living in is we've had time to do some introspection and really think about the way we've been living in the before time, I call it, and how we're going to go forward. So what are some ways in which you're wanting to pivot? What is it that you think will help you most? Because I'm continuing to create more and more programming for the Authentic Life Academy. So I want to make sure I address exactly what you need. So what do you need? What are your ideas? What do you think is holding you back? A lot of it is mindset, you know, a lot of self-doubt and uncertainty. That's okay. That's why it's a 12-month program with me, because there's a lot to work through. There's a lot to work through, and then a refocusing. I don't want to just, you know, leave you hanging after we've gotten started. I want you to come out of it with the full blueprint for what you can do next. So, yeah, leave me some comments about what you'd like to, where you are, what you'd like to see for yourself next, what you think is holding you back. It's quite a bit of homework I'm giving you there, but anyway, thank you for watching the video, for coming back to the Lifestyle and Writing Salon with me. And yeah, watch for more videos. And oh yes, and continue to like, share, subscribe. The more you like, the more YouTube likes it and shares the video with more people. So that's it for now, and I'll look forward to reading your comments.